What is up, Scrub fam? It is Friday. You know what that means. During this time of season, more previews came out. You know what that means for us at 3XG? We did more brewing. And today we went back into Trunks. We went into the new Vegito leader, and we came out with some special decks for you today that get you started on your brewing with these new cards. I'm very excited about all the cards that were presented today and how they're going to impact the way these decks look and how the metagame is going to evolve going forward. So let's just go straight into it. We're going to start with Trunks. So Trunks, we talked about this leader the other day in a more generic shell deck, like generically good deck with cards from the past. And now today, since we have basically all the cards from blue, we're going to go into how this deck looks right now. Of course, like you said, we have the permanent. During your opponent's turn, if you would add a card from your left to your hand or place it in your drop area, reveal it and then add it to your hand. This works with your Bulma, this works with your Vegeta and your Goku to be able to either get you some ramp, tutor something, whatever you want. Just really cool effect, and you get to set up your life with the Supreme Kai Time Unison, so that's our Unison of choice for this deck. When this card attacks, draw a card, and when your life or your opponent's life is at 4 or less, you may draw one card, then switch to one of your energy to activate and flip this card over. Then the Awakened side, same permanent. When this card attacks, draw a card, and then activate main blue-blue. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards placed at the bottom of its owner's deck, and at the end of the turn, switch to one of your mono blue energy to active mode. Very powerful ability, being able to, essentially for one energy bottom deck, one of your opponent's threats. As long as they don't have barrier, they're susceptible to this. So very strong leader ability on the backside. As for our deck, like I said, we're playing 4 Supreme Kai Time, Unison of History. You're going to want this card to help set up your life. But the thing that I kind of like about Trunks is he's not dependent on a Unison to awaken. So being able to wait a couple turns is nice, but you really want the Unison so you can set up your life so you can get those bonuses, which is what this deck is all about. It has an activate main. You can add one card from your life to your hand, and then at the end of your turn, switch one of your mono blue energy to active mode. Strong effect. And then +1, add one card from your life to your hand, then choose one card in your hand and place it into your life. So this is going to be the thing that allows you to set up your Bulma, your Vegito, or your Goku. Playing 3 SSB Son Goku, Tenacious Warrior came out in the starter deck. This is choose a life, add it to your hand, and then when this card is KO'd, you're gonna search the top 7 cards for a Unison with a cost of 2, add it to your hand. Very strong effect, exactly what you want. You want to have a tutor, you can attack with this card on turn 1, send it an opposing Unison, which is what you're more than likely going to be doing right now, and then help yourself awaken. 2 Ultra Instinct Son Goku's Kamehameha. We're playing 52 cards because I wanted to play this card because I wanted to have the ability to abuse untapped energy. 4 Dimension Magic, 4 Sensu Bean, 4 Zeno Edge of Space. One of my favorite super combos right now. Allows for some really slick defensive plays, so I really like it. You could probably do a 2-2 split with Zamasu and not be mad, but we're playing mono blue right now, and I wanted to play as many new cards as possible. 3 Vegeta, Savior of the Future. This is the blue Saiyan Kaba. You could also play the blue Vegeta from the starter deck, where it's critical, and then if it gets KO'd, you can get a Unison back and draw a card. But I just really think that having that one-drop double strike is relevant for opposing Unisons, especially with Zeno Unison being so popular right now. You want to have something that can kill it quickly, so this Vegeta is very important to have. 3 Bulma, Master Scientist. This is an ability that can trigger off of your Trunks, helps tutor your Vegetas, your Gokus, and your Trunkses. 4 SSP Vegeta, Blaze of Passion. 4 SSP Goku, Hope for Victory. These are the ones that can go into your energy if they're going to be placed from your life. Really cool effect, and then of course at the end of your turn they'll go away. So it's just like conditional, like temporary ramp. 3 Ebony, After Image Slash, best battle card in the game right now. Best way to get rid of Unisons, best way to pressure opposing leaders, and if they don't have Sensu Bean, they're in trouble. 2 SS2 Trunks are for a Brighter Future. Has unique, and then permanent. If you have a blue Unison card in play, reduce the cost by 2, so it becomes a 2-drop. And then if your leading card is a blue Trunks Future, at the end of your opponent's turn, draw a card, and then blue, activate main once per turn. Activate battle once per turn. This card gains plus 10,000 and triple strike. So this is activate battle. Really cool. Just being able to make this card a finisher out of nowhere is just awesome. Otherwise, it just sits around like an enchantment and just draws you cards. 4 SS Trunks God's Healing Technique, and then 4 Vegito Infinite Radius, 4 SSB Vegito Paralyzing Prowess. Let me go into Trunks God's Healing Technique real quick, because a lot of people, are commenting on the thread I posted asking if this card was better than Force Will, jokingly. I mean, I know that Force Will is an absurd magic card. I know that it is the linchpin of Legacy. It is how you're able to stop yourself from getting comboed on turn 0, turn 1, and in general, it's just value across the course of the game. One thing about it is, of course, you have to discard a card to use it. You have to pay a life. And then the turns in Dragon Ball Super are much different than the turns in Magic. Turns in Dragon Ball Super, you see a lot more cards on average per turn than you do in a game of Magic the Gathering. So Trunks being something you can see a lot even though you're having to wait till turn 2, the way that DBS scales in comparison to Magic is much different. In turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, turn 6 of DBS, the game just scales from 0 to 100 so fast. Whereas in Magic, especially in those older formats, those first 3 or 4 turns in a Legacy format are everything. So that's why Force of Will is so important. But the impact of having just a free counter for that turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, turn 6 in DBS is absurd. Being able to completely invalidate any play that your opponent could make is just such a powerful tool to have. And honestly, it is almost game-winning how powerful this card is. So people are really underestimating how good this effect is, how good this counter is. And honestly, they're going to find out their first round of testing when they want to play their cards and they've come against a strategy that's similar to the next list I'm going to be talking about, which is Vegito, and they never get to play the game. So keep that in mind. And then the next thing is like the Vegito cards. These cards are wild. So the Union Patara for free for the 5-drop, and then you can use battle cards in your energy when choosing the cards to use the Union skill. And then also, it's just a 5-drop deflect barrier. So can't be countered, and then it can barely be killed, which is insane. But the biggest thing is just the paralyzing prowess. 4 blue, evolves on the Vegito with energy cost of 5. If your leader cards are blue Trunks, when you play this card or attacks, your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and places them at the bottom of their deck in any order. This isn't once per turn, so that means when this card comes down, your opponent's going to bottom deck 2 cards. When this card swings, your opponent's going to bottom deck 2 cards. So your opponent's going to lose 4 cards just because your leader is a blue Trunks future card. That's every reason in the world to play this. That is where the money is. So this card is absurd, and again, it has deflect, barrier, triple strike. It's going to be eating unisons alive all day. The earlier this comes down, the more absurd your games get, and it's going to be really hard for anyone to deal with this card. So really excited about it. Having deflect just means you get around so much. So be prepared. This card is going to be running rampant, I think, over the first couple weeks of everyone testing out the blue stuff, but cards snapped in half. So that is Trunks. Very solid deck, very good premise, built as intended. We're next going to be looking at Vegito, again, focusing on maximizing the leader, which this leader is awesome. When it attacks, it draws cards, and then has an auto. If you're during your opponent's turn, when one of your blue unison cards will be placed in drop area, or one of your blue battle cards is removed from your battle area by opponent's skill or KO'd, you may flip this card over if you do draw 2 cards. So you can do a turn 1 Awakening, you'll draw 2 on Awakening, and then now, for the rest of the game, you just have your backside leader, which is absurd. Really derails a lot of aggro decks, makes things really difficult for people to kill you, combined with the fact that you already have a unison that makes it difficult for people to kill you. Wild. Your Awaken side, when this card attacks, you draw a card, activate battle, blue, choose one of your blue unison cards, and it gets plus 10,000 in triple strike for the battle. Funny thing about unison cards, we haven't seen anything that interacts with them yet. So imagine this. You swing with your Gogeta unison, your opponent doesn't negate, you tap your 2 blue, now it's a 25k triple striker, and you are going for game. Absurd. And then auto once per turn, if it's your opponent's turn, when one of your blue unison cards would be placed in your drop area, or one of your blue battle cards is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd, switch up to one of your mono blue energy to active mode and draw a card. So this allows you to play safely, it allows you to tap out if you want, and then it gives you energy if your opponent happens to kill one of your things. And you have to draw a card. This leader is really strong. Like really good, generically good blue leader, which this is Zamasu. Incredibly hyped about this set. The unison we're playing is the one from the starter deck, for Gogeta, Pursuit of Power. This card has a permanent. If your leader card is a blue Saiyan and you have a blue Saiyan battle card in rest mode, your leader cards don't take damage from attacks. And then +0, activate main, choose one of your leader cards or battle cards, switch to rest mode, add a marker to this card. And then -2, draw a card, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost greater than their current energy ignoring barrier and place it at the bottom of their deck. So you get unconditional removal for anything that's bigger than what your opponent has and draws a card, or you just get to gain a marker, and then of course all of your blue battle cards have Deadly Defender, but better because it's almost like Jiren because you can't take damage. And what's really cool is this combos with the card in the starter deck, of course, SS Trunks, Architect of Peace. If your leader card is a blue Saiyan card and this card is used in a combo, you can pay the blue, choose up to one blue Saiyan card with energy cost 2 less in your hand, negate its skills for the turn, and play it in rest mode. Your opponent thinks that they're gonna pull one over for you, on you. They think they're gonna kill you. They're like, all right, he's at 2 life. I'm gonna go all in with this double strike. you have your Unison in play, and then you're just like, okay, combo this card, pay a blue, play a Saiyan, I can't take damage. Battle's over. Wild. 4 SSB Son Goku Tenacious Warrior. Add 1 card from your life to your hand. This card attacks. It gets plus 11,000 power for the turn. And then when it's KO'd, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Add 1 blue Unison at a specified cost of 2 among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So basically meant to tutor your Unison, and then also the upside, if this card is in rest mode, your opponent attacks on the first turn, you're going to be able to awaken. Or if it's later in the game, you're going to be able to untap a mono blue energy and draw a card. Value. So Vegito's Awaken side legitimately just turns all of your battle cards into high value battle cards when they're in rest mode. Absurd. 4 J. Cole, High Stakes Guardian Blocker. Activate main. Once returned, your opponent reveals top card of the deck. If it's a battle card, this card gains revenge. I wanted to have something that scales across the course of the game, but then also enables our leader to awaken on turn 1. This was a suggestion by Richard Zapp to play some blockers. So we're playing 6 blockers. This is our high quality blocker, and the other blocker we're playing is for the ability of our leader, but also just it combos really well to SS Trunks archetype piece. It's just another target for you to be able to put it in play. I know it comes in play in rest mode, but it's just something. It just gives us that extra juice. 2 Kamehameha. We untap energy, we should play it. 4 Dimension Magic, best negate. 4 Sensu Bean, best extra card. 4 Zeno Super Combo. Card's amazing. You can switch it to Zamasu if you want, or do a 2-2. Also, card combos really well with SS Trunks Architect Piece, as well as your Kamehameha. 4 SSP Vegeta, Heroic Warrior from the starter deck. If your leader card is a blue Saiyan card, this card gains critical, and then when it's KO, draw 1 card, then add up to 1 blue Unison card with the cost of 2 from drop to your hand. So it helps you get your Unison card back, and then combine with your leader. When it's KO'd, you're going to draw 2 cards, you're going to get a blue Unison back, and you're going to switch a mono blue energy to active mode. Drips of value. Obuni Afterimage Slash, best battle card in the game. Now let's get to our counter suite that stops our opponent from playing the game entirely. So, play your Unison card, you have access to Trunks God Sealing Technique for free. Right? That's great. And I know it has this clause where it says you can't activate counterplay skills of other cards for the turn. So let's say you're on turn 3, you have open energy, you pass the turn. You can play a Hit Deadly Vanguard, then you can play a Trunks God Sealing Technique for free because you have your Unison card in play. Let's say you get to turn 4, you have open energy. You can play an Ultra Instinct Son Goku the Unstoppable, and then play an SS Trunks God Sealing Technique for free. So what you get to do is, from turns 2, 3, 4, and beyond, you can stop your opponent from playing anything meaningful. And the best part about Dragon Ball Super as compared to Magic is that your counters, more often than not, have a body attached to them. So it compounds. It's a compounding effect where you're just like, I'm going to play this thing for free to counter your thing. I'm going to play this thing for free and counter your thing. I'm also going to be presenting threats. People are going to have a really hard time. And then, of course, we're finishing the game with Turning the Tide, the best finisher right now. Put your opponent down to 0 cards on hand. You're going to have a board with battle cards. You're going to have a strong Unison. You're going to be able to kill the opponent instantly the time this card comes down. And your leader in Unison make sure that you live long enough to make it happen. So this is the deck. These are the 2 decks. I hope you guys enjoy these deck profiles. These are both going to be public. They're both going to have descriptions below in the video, so you're going to get access to them so you can start playtesting with them ASAP. But in general, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Sunday, we're going to be doing another Corona cast going over all the blue cards and how to play the most busted strategies with the blue cards. Make sure it's Patreon-only subscription, so make sure you go ahead and get that so you can just pay attention and get in on the Corona cast action. It's a good time. Had a really great time last time. It's going to be going public, the first one, on Monday as well. So hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for everything. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. Okay, thanks. Bye!